Hi, Bill.
Rob Bickford. Rob, if you're listening, I need you to call my cell phone.
Everyone?
So Maria, I'm going to allow you to share the screen, okay?
Okay. Do you want me to do that right now?
Nope. We'll let you know. I'm just going to make you a co-host now so I don't have to do it later. Looks like you've attracted a crowd.
Good.
Hi, Pam.
Hi, Kathy. Hi, Kim.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Linnea.
Waiting for two more board members.
Yeah, Jeff just logged on.
Okay.
Hello,
Oh, there we go.
everybody.
Hey, Jeff.
How are you?
Great, thanks. How are you doing?
I've been better, but I'm okay.
Okay, don't whine about it.
Oh, no whining, no whining, no crying in baseball.
That's right. Oh, there's Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
Hello, we have all 5 selectmen and a town manager on board. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 6:01. And we'll start right off following the agenda with the approval of the treasurer warrants. I am open for a motion.
I move that we approve the payroll warrants of April 9 and April 16, 2021.
Second,
Payroll warrants of April 9 and April 16 have been moved and seconded by Kathy and Kim. Were there any questions from the board? Seeing none, calling for a vote. Kim,
yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and Pam votes yes. Motion carries 5-0. Item 1B, accounts payable warrants. We are open for a motion.
I move that we approve the accounts payable warrants of April 13 and April 20, 2021.
Second,
Accounts payable warrants of April 13 and April 20, 2021 have been moved and seconded by Kathy and Kim. Are there any questions from the board? Seeing none, calling for a vote from Kim,
yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and Pam votes yes. Motion carries 5-0. Approval of minutes for April 6. Do we find any errors, omissions, or corrections? Wow, seeing none. I think that's 3 weeks in a row. Awesome. We're open for a motion.
I move that we approve the minutes of April 6, 2021.
Second,
Minutes of April 2nd, April 6, 2021 have been moved and seconded by Kathy and Kim. Calling for a vote from Kim,
yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jeff.
I think I have to abstain on that. I wasn't at the meeting.
Yes, you do. And Sarah.
Yes.
And Pam votes yes. Motion carries 4-0-1 with Jeff abstaining. And we are now up to item 3A from the Wiscasset High School climate presentation. So, does the Wiscasset climate presentation group have someone as a designated speaker?
Yes, I'm going to start and I'll introduce the other speakers.
Okay,
And I believe we are sharing the screen. Can everybody see the slides?
yes, you are up.
Great, okay. Well, thank you for allowing us to make this presentation to you tonight. We are the Sheepscot Climate Action Club, a Wiscasset High School student group. I'm Ralph Keyes, a science teacher and one of the advisors to the Climate Club. Sheepscot Climate Action Club is a new club. It was initiated this year by students at the start of our school year. We're a small group of active students, including some homeschooled community members. This club was formed by students who are active in the Coastal Youth Climate Coalition, which is a broader non-school affiliated group consisting of Mid-Coast and Down East students. They work to address issues related to climate change across coastal Maine. The topic of greenhouse gas emissions and the threats they pose to a shifting climate is a topic I weave into many aspects of my grade 9 Earth Environmental Science classes. I've often said to the kids that, this is a problem that was caused by my grandparents' generation and my parents' generation and exacerbated by my generation. And then I used to tell them that it's on them to be smarter than we have been and to solve this problem. Well, recently a young person said to me, we're so sick of being told that this is our problem to solve. And in so many words, she was saying that attitude that it's their problem is a cop-out on our part. And there are many really thoughtful, bright young people who are deeply motivated to fix this problem, but many of them are not yet empowered to do so. Many of them don't even have the right to vote yet. So they cannot fix this without us helping them. And they need our help and they need it now. And we're here this evening to ask you to work with us and to pledge to work with you. So I'm pleased to introduce 3 students. First, we'll hear from Grace. Grace is a she's the impetus for the Sheepshead Action Climate Club. She came into my classroom in the first week of September this year and said, does our school have a high school climate club? And I said, no, but I'm ready to start one with you. And here we are. Then we'll hear from Maria. Maria is a member of last year's high school graduating class who is active with the Coastal Youth Climate Coalition. Maria has been attending our weekly Zoom meetings this year and is serving as an advisor and a mentor to the younger kids. Finally, Bree will field some questions, or she'll take questions and see how we best can answer those for you. Bree's a Wiscasset resident who's homeschooled, and she reached out to me early this year to ask if she could attend some of our high school outing club trips. Well, our outing club has been dormant because of the pandemic, but I encouraged Bree to try some other groups, and she's been an integral member of this team. So we're very pleased to be able to meet with you tonight. The kids have a brief slide presentation to share, and then we'll take your questions. Thank you very much for hearing us and considering this appeal, and we look forward to working with you. Grace, you're on.
Hi, thank you everybody for letting us do this presentation. We've been working on this for a few months and we're finally ready to share it with you all. So as we all know, Wiscasset is an amazing place. It's beautiful, but we need to keep it that way because we believe that people in Wiscasset have a right to the land and all the environment in the same way that the people before us have had. And we just want to continue that because with everybody's happiness and like liberty and ensuring their life, happiness and whatnot, it continues the thriving coastal community that we have here in Wiscasset. These are the issues that we seek to resolve. So first off, we have like the rising levels of water. So the Gulf of Maine Research Institution, GMRI, has put out a statement that by 2040, Wiscasset will have a high tide of 15.9 feet on average. And that's on average. So it can vary, obviously, but which would cause popular locations such as the wastewater treatment plant and Red Zeets, Creamery Pier, Commercial Pier to be completely submerged by water. And this would also threaten the independent spent fuel storage installation at the site of the former Maine Yankee nuclear power plant. And as well as that, we have the fact that the Gulf of Maine is heating faster than 90% of the rest of the coastal waters surrounding the United States. And this results in increased hurricane threats in New England and increased likelihood of once in a century storm surges and flooding, which would cause millions of dollars in damage to and mitigation efforts, that would definitely hit our town quite hard. With the warming average temperatures and warming waters, the average snowfall that Maine typically receives, which is around 50 to 70 inches, this would eventually transition into wetter weather featuring more rain and less snow. And this would cause more flooding and would cause huge significant financial losses to the citizens and businesses of Wiscasset. With this, the traditional Maine outdoor activities seasons would be cut short, especially skiing, snowmobiling, and ice fishing, which we all know which draws a lot of tourists to our state and our town. And the seasons would be cut short completely. Which, yeah, okay. Let's see. So there's been a decline in population and shifts in location of like lobsters, groundfish, shrimp, softshell clams, and they're experiencing shifts or declines due to increasing water temperatures in the Gulf of Maine because they like to have a certain temperature when they migrate to come in to enter our areas, but the opportunities for entry into these heritage industries are definitely declining and have been for the past at least 20 years. So in October 2019, the United Nations released a special report that projected that limiting warming to even the 1.5 degrees Celsius target, which this is a target, but it technically it's a stretch because this is the ideal, but so if we try to get to this temperature target, the like more warming to this target, this basically means the temperature will go up this much, And if we take steps to stop it, the temperature will not go up this much. But this would just be within the next century is how much it would go up theoretically. But it would require, to stop this, it would require a huge transformation of every single sector of the global economy by around 2030, especially as the globe moves forward with a much higher projected increase than this 15 or 1.5 degrees Celsius idea. So these are all issues that need to be addressed now because the climate change will not wait. It's already going, it's been going for years, and it's not going to stop for anybody. And the effects are already damaging our communities. So we have a few resolutions, so I will pass this off to Maria.
So a lot of that is a lot of negative things that are going to be happening to our communities. So on a more positive note, we want to share some resolutions that as a local government and as a community in general, we can work towards. So these are the resolutions we came up with in our climate draft. So the first thing we want to do is start by declaring a climate emergency. Declaring a climate emergency just basically means that you're recognizing that there is climate change negatively affecting our town. It's a non-binding agreement. It's just the first step you can take to recognizing that this is an issue. The next thing we want to do is create a town-wide mobilization effort. We want to do this to address climate change and the ecological crisis that's happening in our forests and our waters. With appropriate financial help from state and federal authorities, we can reach this. And the more specifics are targeted in an A, B, and C format on the document that we had sent to you guys. The next thing we want to do, and one of the most important things to us, is creating an energy efficiency committee or task force, some sort of local government position that works towards research on these things that are impacted by climate change. So there can be different projects that we can work on within this position. So one of the things that we recommend working on and what we want to start working on as soon as possible is tracking our greenhouse gas emissions. We can do this many ways. Our personal way that we suggest you guys to start is using ICLEI. So that stands for the International Council for Local Environmental Initiatives. It's basically a tool that allows you to track greenhouse gas emissions and the different fluctuations within the climate. It's really important to track these greenhouse gases because this is what's really driving climate change right now. And this is what we can get a firm grasp on to continue to hopefully decrease these greenhouse gas emissions. The best thing we can do is track that to see how we're doing so far. And just a hint, we are not doing very good right now. The next thing that we'd like for you guys to do is sign on to the Global Covenant of Mayors for Climate and Energy. This initiative is basically a large group of people who are coming together and recognizing that climate change is an issue within each town, within each city. It's really important because signing on to this makes you a part of a bigger community, can provide resources and recognition, and it looks good for the town as well. Another thing that the hopefully newly created Energy Efficiency Committee can do is commit towards a shift to renewable and alternative energy sources. I just want to highlight the word shift. We understand that this is not something that you can do overnight, but we also want to highlight that this is not something that we can do 20 years down the line. This is something that needs to start happening now, and this transition and shift is really crucial and will play a really crucial part in how much money we're going to have to spend to reverse this climate change in the future. The longer we wait, the more money we're going to have to spend as a town and as a globe in general. Something that's really important with us is that we stay in contact. We want to keep working with you guys. We are young, but we have a lot of resources and a lot of data we are more than willing to share. We want to work side by side with you guys. It's really important. Obviously, we're not old enough to be in local government, but it's really important to us that we just try to support you guys as best as possible. We understand this is a new topic for some, and it's always good to ask questions, and we have the resources and the outreach for that. The last thing, and kind of like the wrap up of what we want to do, is have the town of Wiscasset create a climate action plan. So basically, that's just like a plan that's going to outline what we want to do as a community to get those greenhouse gases down. These things can come as incentives, such as tax incentives on carbon, so that people get money back for driving a certain amount of miles in their car or having solar panels on their house. We want to promote this as a feasible thing for the community to be able to do, and not something that seems so futuristic and scary. So we want to make it tangible and doable for the town. So we know that creating a climate action plan that wraps all this up will be helpful, and we're hoping to get this published, and we're willing to work side by side in creating this. Before we move on to questions, I just want to say thank you, you all, for listening today. This is a lot to dump on and a lot of negative things, but we really see this as a positive thing, and we hope that we can continue to work together. So I'm going to turn it over to another member, and I'm going to turn it over to Bree, and she's going to answer any questions you guys might have. And so I'll give it to her, but thank you again.
Okay, thank you. If you would unshare your screen so I can see who puts their hands up. Thank you very much. And Bree, where are you? Bree is ready to take questions. So has anyone got any questions for this group? I know I have a few. Sarah, go right ahead.
Thank you all for your presentation. It's really great to see you here. I was a student representative on the school board when I was in high school, and I think local government really is where change happens. So I think it's really great that you're here. My question is whether you looked at what other groups, even in other states, were doing, and is that sort of where you got some of your ideas? I just would love to hear some of that background.
We have been looking into what other groups have done. We looked at other people's climate emergency declarations before we started ours. We're working, we emailed the Maine Conservatory. I think that's what, I can't remember what it's called, but we're looking into gathering other groups to help us, definitely.
Awesome. And I don't have any other questions, but maybe at the end, I feel like, so I'm the chair of the Comprehensive Planning Committee, and I feel like a lot of this work and certainly feedback and planning around this could really fit in with the comprehensive planning.
Okay, anyone else on the board have a question? Or yes, Kim, go right ahead.
So does your group have an idea of a timeline where you're looking for us to take action on this?
So we have decided on having 2030 as our end goal. That is, like, it's not what we definitely have to have it done by then, but that is our preferred date.
And what about our board? Like, when would you like us to vote on the resolution?
I am not sure. Does anybody else know that?
As quickly as possible, but we want to make sure that we have enough information and enough communication back and forth. So sooner the better, and more of like whatever time frame works for you guys, but we're not looking to push this off. But we are looking to communicate beforehand so that we don't have a bunch of bumps or any miscommunication.
Okay, good. Yes, Brad, you have something to add?
Yes, sorry. So I've been working very closely with this group of students. I'm one of the teachers and advisors. This is a project that, one of the other things we've talked about was, I've done this before with a committee in Kennebunk, previously with students as well. And just to give you an estimate of kind of what our timeline was, we did the greenhouse gas inventory, and it took us about 2 years. And after that point, we handed it over to somebody who was kind of trained a little bit more in that field that the town between Kennebunk, York, and Wells hired. And so this is definitely something that, I think the students have thought a lot about. And, one of the things we have been looking at too is we also took a look at Sacco's declaration too. So there are several towns, even in our own state, that have either done a climate declaration or have also done the Global Covenant of Mayors too. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board?
Could we actually get a copy of the presentation? Would that be?
That would be really nice if you could email a copy of your PowerPoint to us, or that would be terrific. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, we can do that. We will do that very quickly.
I have just a couple of things. I have a couple of things that I'd like to say is that I'm really impressed by this work. Super, super impressed by this work. I can't remember if it was Grace but one of you said that you're not old enough to be in government. Well, you're not old enough to be elected to a government seat, but you're obviously old enough to have some really great ideas to share with the local government and to work with the local government. And I strongly encourage you to stay involved and keep working on this, because this is super important. And you're obviously collecting really good information and bringing forward some terrific ideas. And this is really going to be key to Wiscasset moving forward. I really like your idea of a committee more than a task force, because a committee would make it open for not only people over the age of 18, but possibly younger people. A few younger people would be able to be on that committee from your group and be able to work on that as well, which would make it a tighter committee and an easier way to share the information and make sure it's integrated completely between groups. And the only thing I saw in here was that I had a question on was about the options for tax incentives. Did you look at that as the town offering a tax incentive, or for the town to find state or federal incentives that would be available to the public?
So can you rephrase that? You were asking how we looked into the tax incentives.
Right, on one of the resolves, a tax incentive for people who have solar panels on their homes or something like that. Were you looking at a town rebate on a local real estate tax, or were you thinking more in the line that the town would look for options for those homeowners to be able to find help through state or federal programs? What were you actually suggesting there?
We do not have specifics just yet, but we're looking forward to working with you guys on that. I think Grace has an answer, and Maria.
Yeah, okay. So
Yeah, oh, go ahead.
go right ahead.
Yeah, so it would probably be more with just not with the town taxes, but it would be more with like the federal government, especially with Joe Biden's plan that they're putting into place. They're actually doing a similar thing to this as we speak. So yeah, it would be more with like federal funding rather than taxpayer dollars from our town.
And an example of that is in MDI. They've done a lot of federal and state tax incentives through solar panels and solar panel farms in MDI. If that's something you want to see an example of, they do an excellent job. They also recently, as of I think last year, declared a climate emergency, and solar taxes and was part of it. And they have a great research base on that. But it would definitely be federally or state, definitely not local.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. That clears up that for me. So again, anything else from the board? Anything else from anyone? Yes, Kim.
I just wanted to make a comment that I'm just so impressed by the work that you kids have done, and I'm so proud of you. And I guess I say that as an educator, I'm proud of you. And as a mom, I'm proud of you. And then as a select person, I'm really grateful to you for doing this work because Wisconsin's a really special place and you kids are a testament to that. So thank you so much for bringing this to the attention of the wider world and great job. Really kudos.
Yes, Kathy.
I just wanted to thank them for a terrific presentation. And they may want to get in touch with Mary Ellen Barnes, who is the Lincoln County planner.
Yeah.
And I know she is working on climate change items, whether it's this or probably a broad spectrum, but she's in the building right across from Big Al's. There's a sign that says Lincoln County Planning Commission. So you might want to check with them because they're a good source of information as well. And I also like Sarah's idea of maybe the comprehensive plan would be a better instrument for getting this all, whatever, together.
Okay. So does anyone on the board think that we're ready to take an action on this, or do you want to put this on a future meeting to take action after you've read through and looked up more information?
Future meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, and can I just add that I just want to mention that for those who don't know, the comprehensive plan has chapters on natural resources, water resources, existing and future land use, and all of that is super relevant to what you're doing. So I think no matter where the board ends up on some of the specific actions that you asked for today, I think there's definitely a place for some of your ideas and thoughts towards some of those chapters. So it sounds really boring, but actually that's some of where the real work happens because the comprehensive plan is basically a plan for the next 10 years for the town. So I'm happy to chat with anybody at any point. So.
Okay, does anyone on the board have any idea when you want to take this back up? You want it at the next meeting, or do you want more time than that to do some study?
Can Dennis weigh in on this and just let us know if it's something that needs to get run by legal and how long that will take? And
yeah,
I've already done that. You're all set.
Oh,
it does state. Yeah, it does state in the document that it's a non-binding document.
Yeah, it's non-binding, but I did run it by them anyways, and it's fine.
well, I would take action as soon as tonight, but if you guys want to wait for 2 weeks to fully read, like I read the document already, but
yeah, I've read the document. I haven't visited the suggested websites. Yeah, I didn't have time for that, so I would like to do that before I take an action on it.
I agree.
I think these individuals have put in a lot of work on this, and I want to make sure I've done my full due diligence as they obviously have before I make a decision on it. So again, thank you very much to the Sheepscot Climate Action Club. This is a terrific document. I'm very impressed with all your work. And I hope that if the town does decide to have a committee on this, that some of your members at least will agree to go on and work with that committee. I'm very pleased with all of this work. Thank you very much.
Thank you for this opportunity. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Yes,
Hey guys, good job.
great job. Great job. Okay, we're going to go back to the agenda to item number 4 on committee appointments. So the first committee we have are the cemetery committee.
I move that we appoint Loretta Morse Layton, David Sawyer, Anthony Rossio Jr., Peter H. Wells, Judy Flanagan, and Stephen Christensen to the cemetery committee.
I second that.
Okay, excuse me very much. So it's been moved and seconded to appoint the 6 applicants. I won't rename them all. The 6 applicants to the cemetery committee. It's been moved and seconded by Kathy and Jeff. Now, are there any questions from the board?
Just a note that we'll want to also assign a select board liaison.
Yes, we will.
I would point out this gives you 6 members, which is an even number.
It is, so we'll
Maybe go
probably
for
want to
5 more.
see if there's anyone else that would like to join. It would be better if the voting number were odd.
So you want to set it as a 7-member board?
I would, yes, and we'll allow one more member.
Do you want me
Yes,
to,
Ed.
wait, excuse me. Do you want me to amend the motion? I mean,
No, you just, you voted to appoint it, but you didn't set I think it's just a 7-member board is fine. Ed, you had a question?
Yes, I was just wondering if the cemetery committee is currently covered in the ordinances. Is this an existing committee that we've just not been in operation for some time?
So the cemetery committee is not in our ordinances, but it has been a long-standing select board committee that it's an ad hoc committee that is activated when we have decisions to make on the properties. When we're done making our decisions, the committee would go into flux.
Thank you.
Okay,
it's been around for over 40 years. At
Yeah, it's
least
a long
40
time.
years I've been here. It's been a cemetery committee.
oh, yes. Yeah, Judy? Judy, you're muted. While we're waiting for Judy to unmute, Peter, you had something?
Yes, just a quick question. What's our next step? And we don't really have a written responsibility, just a cemetery regulation document that we're gonna follow. So I'm wondering if there is a responsibility for us as far as how often we meet, what are our goals, what are our initiatives, et cetera. So
Yep. So there is a committee handbook. Dennis will make sure you all get a copy of that. It has like the guidelines, the rules and regulations, if you will, on being on a committee and running a committee. You are a town committee, you'd be required to let people know in advance that you're having your meetings. They'd be public meetings, you're required to take minutes.
Right.
And turn those into the town office. Those kinds of things. So what you would be done, what would your work be is that would be assigned to you by the Board of Selectmen through the town manager.
All right, good.
Okay,
And while Judy's on mute, I'm gonna put her in charge of taking minutes.
Oh, I need to address that.
okay, go ahead, Judy.
Judy does not spell well. So Judy will recline graciously and strongly. That
You can
I
count
will
the
take
votes.
minutes. You know,
can
Pam.
I
Pam,
know you. You can take, you can count the votes.
Yeah, but I can't
Create the
spell.
words.
Okay, I know you all enjoyed my moment of being muted, but
Oh,
now
I
that
did for
I'm
sure.
now that I'm not, I do want to say, and I think we have someone who has been on the cemetery committee for a number of years and can add, like Steve can, a whole lot. And I think she would be willing to apply. And I had talked to her about being an advisor, and I think she would even be a member. And so hopefully
Okay,
you're happy with that.
okay. Thank you, Judy.
Oh, you're
Okay.
so welcome, but not Peter.
So it's been moved and seconded by Kathy and Jeff to appoint the 6 listed applicants to this 7-member committee. Calling for a vote from Kim,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Oops, Jeff.
Yes.
I skipped Jeff. And Pam votes yes. Motion carries 5-0. Sorry, Jeff.
That's okay.
So Pam,
Yes.
I will contact each one of these folks and set up their initial meeting where they'll have to come in and elect a chairman and a vice chairman and so on and so forth.
Okay, that's great.
Right.
That's great. And a secretary.
Judy.
Up to the board. Up to them.
And a reminder, all of you have to come in and get sworn in, okay?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to move on to item 4B, the appearance of the town committee. So we're open for a motion.
I move that we appoint Jan Flowers, Larry Flowers, and Candace Khan, E.M. Pietro to the appearance of the town committee.
Second.
And I hope I didn't mispronounce anybody's name. My apologies if I did.
So any questions from the board? No, seeing none. Okay, it's been moved and seconded by Kathy and Jeff to appoint the three, excuse me, the three applicants listed to the appearance of the town committee. Calling for a vote from Kim,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jeff in order this time,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and Pam votes yes, motion carries 5-0. Item 4C, the comprehensive planning committee.
I move.
Okay,
I
go right ahead, Kathy.
You ready? Okay.
Yep, go right ahead.
I move that we appoint Valerie Young to the Comprehensive Planning Committee.
Second.
Second.
Jeff got it. Kathy and Jeff have moved to appoint Valerie Young to the Comprehensive Planning Committee. Any comments from the board? Seeing none, calling from a vote for Kim,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and Pam votes yes, 5-0. We have no public hearings tonight. We are now up to public comment, which time anyone from the public may speak for up to 5 minutes. Going once, hello, Ed. I'm starting
there.
your timer.
Okay. In trying to decide how to vote on Article 6 on the warrant, I believe the voters should have some basic information about the airport solar project. The kind of information I believe is necessary to me is normally gathered during what I'm used to calling a fact-finding period prior to negotiations. Thus far, 2 decisions have already been made by the board. One is that the board has limited the project size to approximately 20 acres. And the board has decided that negotiations will take place with a company called MSD Wiscasset LLC. Those decisions are done, that's in the warrant. The solar system will cover approximately 20 acres. And at this point, the power rating and the predicted energy to be produced are not currently specified. The actual location on the airport is not specified. The earlier plot layouts that we saw indicated that a substantial number of acres of forest would be clear cut. And the question becomes, will Wiscasset benefit from that timber harvest? The forest is currently a Wiscasset asset and it should not be surrendered. If I go on, where does this project stand in the approval process? Is a state approval required? What state statutes really apply here? We should become knowledgeable. Which comes first, the town approval or the state approval? And if the power and energy parameters are known, and we don't know what they are, but they may be known by the company, where does this project stand in an interconnection plan approval process? My last experience with that was a long process, somewhere between 12 and 18 months long. And my next question is, does this project require planning board approval? And I'm assuming that it does. If we look at this project, do we have any idea what the current construction start date would be for this project? How long will it take to complete? What is the proposed operation start date? Now, beyond that, the question for, I think, the Wiscasset voters is this a viable business? Is there a business plan available? What is the projected cost of this project? More importantly, how will this company recover its initial capital investment? Can it recover that investment before the solar panel end of life, which is somewhere between 20 and 25 years? Wiscasset should be assured that this project will actually be successful and not become another Point East. The objective of this company, this business, is to generate and sell energy. There are two types of customers for this energy. In one case, the energy is sold to shareholders who invest in the project. The shareholder may benefit from tax credits, and my understanding is they will expire in 2022, as well as savings on their monthly electric bill. However, this comes to them with some financial risk. And that risk is that they may never be able to recover their investment. In the other case, the customer is a subscriber. The subscriber is not eligible for energy tax credits. The subscriber will see a saving on the monthly electric bill. And a few months ago, I did a study with one of the proposed solar companies in the area, and we've gotten a lot of this stuff in the mail, to see what effect that would be on my electric bill on a monthly basis. When I looked at all the data in the contract, I concluded that I would save between $4 and $5 a month on my total electric charges. I would end up with two bills, one with the solar company, and I still have the bill to pay with Central Maine Power. And there is no guaranteed rate, and that's obvious. The PUC sets the rates in the state. Now, if there is an offer on the table, the question is, what is it? We don't know what that offer might be at the moment. Most of the items that I mentioned above are simply facts associated with this project and are not really negotiable. Voters should be aware of as many of these facts as possible. The more facts the voters have, the better position they will be to make a decision on Article 6. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Sorry, I couldn't get it to shut up when you were finishing. Okay, so that was a whole lot of questions. And if you would do as you did before and send us a copy of what you just read off to us, and we'd have that list of questions to maybe address at a future meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Dennis, you have a couple of answers that you can share tonight.
I do have a couple of things I can share tonight. And I can send you this information too, Ed, because it's all public information. The DEP had just last week approved their site law permit for out there. The project was changed to 20 acres by Synergy, not by the select board, because they had proposed two projects out there. But the PUC regulations on these types of projects only allow them to exist in a certain geographical area. So they can't put two projects out there, okay? And as far as some of this other stuff, I have suggested to Pam yesterday that the board have a workshop based solely around this, the solar thing. And it will further be addressed when we do the meeting on the town warrant in May, which will give everybody a chance to come in and discuss any of the warrant articles that they want to discuss. And I talked to Chad and Steve today from Synergy, and they are going to be here to address whatever concerns you may have.
Thank you. If you would please just send me that information, I'd be grateful. Thank you.
I will.
Great. Okay, any other public comment? Seeing absolutely none, we're moving on to the department head or committee chair reports. Does anyone from the board have anything to say on any of the reports?
All excellent as always.
Okay, we have nothing under unfinished business. Moving on to item 9, new business. 9A is to set a date and location for the public hearing on town meeting warrant articles.
What I was just mentioning to Ed, I would suggest the May 18th meeting, our regular selectmen's meeting.
Okay.
Dwayne's already set aside the community center gym for us to use that, so we could do it as a live meeting, which I think would be more conducive than this format.
Yes, yes. This Zoom is getting, I'm very tired of Zoom.
Anything is better than Zoom.
So do you need a vote from us, Dennis, to set the date?
Yes, please.
I'm open for a motion for someone to set May 18 as the public hearing for the town meeting warrant articles.
I move that we set the date of May 18, 2021 at the Community Center Gym for the public hearing on the town meeting warrant articles. Did I forget anything?
Second that.
So it's been moved and seconded by Kathy and Jeff, May 18 at the Wiscasset Community Center for the public hearing. Any further discussion from the board? Seeing none, calling for a vote from Kim,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Sarah. I
Yes.
went blank. And Pam votes yes, motion carries 5-0. 9B is the monthly financials. Anything from the board that wanted clearing up? Any questions, comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to 9C for a new business license. Stephen Ludwig doing business as Ludwig's Antiques and Art on Main Street.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded by Jeff and Kathy to approve Ludwig's Antiques and Art. Any questions from the board, comments? Seeing none, calling for a vote from Kim,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and Pam votes yes, motion carries 5-0. Number 9D, a donation of $400 to General Assistance from Neighbors Helping Neighbors, GoFundMe fundraiser.
I make a motion to accept and thank them very much.
I will second that with thanks as well.
Okay, it's been moved by Jeff and Kathy to accept the $400 donation from Neighbors Helping Neighbors to General Assistance. Calling for a vote from Kim,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and Pam votes yes, motion carries 5-0. And thank you very much for the generous donation. 9E, another generous donation of a boat to the town of Wiscasset. So the individual that owns the boat has offered to give this to the town of Wiscasset for use on water rescues and anything else they need it for down at the harbor. This is very, very generous. We are open for a motion.
I was going to ask, can I ask a question first? Well,
Sure.
no, let's have the motion and then we can discuss it.
Sure.
I move that we accept the donation of a boat for the use of rescue, et cetera, from Mrs. Jakes. I think that's how we pronounce her name.
I think so.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded by Kathy and Kim to accept the donation of the boat. Any comments or questions? Kathy?
I just had a question of Dennis. Did you have a chance to discuss this with the fire chief or anybody? I'm assuming they're all in favor of it because it's a very generous donation, but.
Yes, I have. The boat itself is not conducive for what we want to use it for. But she has indicated that, we can sell it and use the proceeds towards what we want. And Rob is here. He's more than, if you guys want to listen to him, he can more to it.
Nice. Rob, you have anything to say?
No, just that it's a very generous donation. We would love to use
Yes.
proceeds towards something that, like Dennis said, would really work for us and the harbor master in the harbor.
Good.
Yeah,
That's
thank
good.
you. Thank you very much. Yeah, so it's been seconded to to accept the donation of the boat by Kathy and Kim. So calling for a vote from Kim,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and Pam votes yes, motion carries 5-0.
I will send,
Item,
send both of these people a letter on your behalf if you wish.
Yes.
oh, please
Thank you,
do,
Dennis.
please
Yeah.
do. This was very generous of Mrs. Jakes and her daughter. It's great to see the people in the public reaching out and helping the town that way. Item number 9F, Westport Island / Dresden EMS contract. Open for a motion.
Here we are. I'm on the wrong page, sorry. I move to authorize the town manager to execute the fiscal year 2022 EMS contracts with the town of Westport Island in the amount of $12,265 and the town of Dresden in the amount of $28,999.
Second,
Okay, it's been moved and seconded by Kathy and Jeff to authorize the town manager to execute contracts with Westport Island and Dresden. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, calling for a vote from Kim.
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jeff,
yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and Pam votes yes. Motion carries 5-0.
So, and these were up slightly from last year because our budget was up a little bit from last year too, so they
Yep.
can share the pain.
Share the pain, that's right. Item G, a quick claim deed to Ronald Goyen Jr. on map R01 lot 037E. Open
make a
for a
motion.
motion.
Make a motion to approve.
I will second it.
It's been moved and seconded by Jeff and Kathy to approve the quick claim deed as stated. Any questions or comments? Calling for a vote from Kim.
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and Pam votes yes, 5-0. Motion carries.
Sam, I have to remind you guys that the registry will not accept electronic signatures on this. You'll have to come in and sign it.
Yes, we'll all stop by and sign. It'll be ready by afternoon tomorrow, probably.
Yes.
Okay. Item H, set a date for the school budget validation referendum. School committee suggests May 12 at 6 p.m. We're open for a motion.
I move that we set the date for school budget validation referendum. School committee suggests May 12th at 6 p.m.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded by Kathy and Kim. Kathy and Sarah, sorry. Brain fade. Any questions or comments from the board?
Pam,
Yes, Kim.
is this the vote on their budget?
This is,
Validation. I guess.
yes,
Should
yes,
it-
Kim.
Can you reread the motion, please?
The motion is to set the date for the school budget validation referendum school committee on to May 12 at 6 p.m.
I thought the validation referendum is the one that occurs when people vote on the warrant, and that this is to set the date for the, what would be called a regional budget meeting, but we don't have a region, so we just call it a budget meeting.
I believe she's correct.
So if
How
Pam,
is the agenda, hang on, Jeff, so the agenda is incorrect on the way it's listed?
I think the way she worded it is incorrect.
Okay,
How should
so
we-
just take out the words validation referendum to the school budget.
Yeah, it would be the, on the infographic that Dennis sent us today, it's the thing that's called the regional budget meeting. But since we're not part of a region, I think we
Yeah,
just
no, it
call
would
it
be-
a budget meeting.
Yeah, it's just a school budget meeting. Okay. So Kathy and Sarah made the motion. If you want to retract your motion and second and then make a new motion, that would be good.
I'll retract.
I'll retract.
Okay, so the motion would be to set the date for the school budget meeting on May 12th at 6 p.m. Who'd like to move?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Kim and Sarah, May 12th at 6 p.m. Calling for a vote from Kim.
Yes.
I've just got a quick question.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, Jeff?
Yeah, so I could be just not hearing everything. So the town isn't voting on the school budget.
They're voting on the amount to put on the warrant. And after they set the amount, the question on the town's warrant would be to approve the amount voted at this budget meeting.
It's the first step in our annual two-step process, Jeff. We do this every year.
Gotcha.
This is the meeting where you could show up if you wanted to and make a motion to, increase the school budget by
Gotcha.
$500,000 for general ed. And if you had enough people there to support you, then that's what would go to the warrant.
Thank you, Kim. Sorry about that. Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
All right.
Um,
Yeah. All right. Yes, Ed.
Just a quick question. Years ago, the town budget committee really was involved with the school budget. Will the town budget committee weigh in on that school budget?
No, they won't.
Thank you. I think.
I just had a quick question. Is this in person or Zoom?
I believe it's scheduled for in person in the school gym or the school cafeteria, but it is in person.
Okay.
At the school, okay.
Okay. So we ready for a vote? Okay, from Kim,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes,
Jeff,
Yes,
Sarah,
Yes.
and Pam votes yes, 5-0, motion carries.
So-
We're on the home stretch. Town managers report.
Sorry, I didn't catch that mistake on the agenda.
Oh, we're gonna hold it against you forever.
That's okay. Okay, so I assume most of you read the report. The one thing that I did want to have a kind of a discussion about was the cameras down at the waterfront. And get some thoughts on how that is. Dwayne, I think you're here somewhere, I think.
He's there.
Yeah, I'm here.
So we've had this discussion about putting cameras down there to try to gather some data as to how the waterfront is actually, how active it is, how much it's being used and who's using it. We have a very active waterfront committee. They want to expand use of the waterfront by putting in slips and adding piers. I feel like as the town manager, I need more data in order to move forward with some of this stuff. And I don't feel like we have it. And I think this is one way that we can gather some pretty useful data as to what's currently going on down there. And we can make some decisions going forward as to what we'd like to do and possibly have it generate some revenue and kind of pay for itself as some of the other town departments do.
Okay, so how would the town afford this? What budget would this come out of?
It would come out of the waterfront budget. And as
Okay.
it stands right now, I'm pretty sure we could do it and stay within budget. Ted's done a pretty good job of keeping all of his budgets down. He's done all the repair work that needs to be done to the floats. I talked to him about it this morning. He figures maybe another $2,500. So that would still leave $20,000 in repairs and maintenance, and that would likely go unused. So I'm pretty sure we could probably take this out of this year's budget and be okay.
Okay, so do you want a consensus from the board, or you want a motion on this, or what would you like to see?
I would like to hear what you guys have to say about it. If it seems that everybody's fine with it, then we can just move ahead.
Yeah, Sarah's got her hand up, so we'll hear her first.
I was just wondering who's going to be watching the tape to collect all the data.
It's going to go into the PD.
Okay. It seems like a lot of footage to watch.
Well, and it can be monitored it can be set up so that if there's no activity, it'll tell you there's no activity. So,
Okay, so like a motion thing.
yes.
Okay. That makes sense. Any other questions for Dwayne or Dennis on this from the board?
No, thank you, Dwayne, for looking into it, and I think we ought to do it. Or, let Dennis go ahead and between he and Dwayne, get it all figured out.
Okay, Kim, you have something?
Yeah, I know that cities and municipalities do this all over the world, right? Like, but do we need to talk or think at all about privacy protection, gathering images of people? Do we care?
Well, it's town property. It's town property.
Right, I understand, but there are, people who do take issue with surveillance footage being collected. And I'm just curious if we've thought about that, if anybody in the public should question it. Do we have a response?
I
We
don't know
can,
why they
we
would.
can, we can post signs down there that tell everybody they're being videotaped.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel
I
like
mean,
most
you're being
places have that.
videotaped every time you drive into Shaw's grocery store too, so.
Went to the gas station and pumped gas. There's a camera
Right.
watching you.
I'm not saying that this is something
Yes.
new, like this happens everywhere,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's our place to think about those ramifications because this
Oh, no.
is the first time, right, that the town's going to be installing surveillance cameras. We don't have them
We
on the
have-
traffic
You need
lights.
to
Or,
call them surveillance cameras. I'd
Well,
call them.
there are lights on there are cameras on the lights, but they're not done by the town. They're done by the
that's the
state.
state.
Right.
Surveillance is not a bad word, Kathy. It's just a word.
Yeah,
I have cameras up there too.
connotation.
And Wayne, Dwayne has, the community center has cameras in some parts of it, so. But we can post signs up there that just let people know that they're being.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Okay, so just from the board, does anyone object to cameras at the waterfront?
No.
No,
No.
I don't.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Any other board business? We're on number 11.
Yeah, I was just wondering when's the last time anybody read 1984? Just kidding.
I love it.
That's a good one. Okay, we're on number
Um,
12.
Oh,
Motion to
oh,
adjourn.
Sorry.
Motion to adjourn. I move that we adjourn.
Wait, Sarah, you had something?
Yeah, still need a select board liaison to the
Yeah,
cemetery.
right.
Well,
You
don't
still
all
need-
speak at once. I'll do it.
For the solar,
No, the cemetery.
Cemetery.
oh, the cemetery committee. Oh, yeah. Okay. Who said they'd do it?
Kathy.
Kathy did.
Kathy, you're on the list.
Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
You're a saint.
My last hurrah.
We'll go back to adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded by Kathy and Sarah that we adjourn, calling for a vote from Kim,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and Pam votes yes. Motion carries. We're adjourned at 7:03. Thank you very much, everybody. Good meeting.
Has anybody ever said no to adjournment?
By mistake.
And lived.
Not
They
bad.
ever
That
said
was
it and
just-
lived.